Well, good morning. Welcome to this web chat. I'm Simon Yao, the producer of our mainstream conference, which is happening in Perth on the 20th and 21st of March and Melbourne on the 27th and 28th of March. And I'm delighted to be joined today on the line from Seattle by one of our esteemed speakers for mainstream, Jim Benson. Good morning, or I guess good afternoon for you, Jim.
Yes, good afternoon and good morning. Yes.
Well, it's great to have you with us, and as I said, really looking forward to having you over in Australia in a few months' time. Have you been to Australia much before, Jim?
I tend to get to Australia about twice a year, so yeah.
Oh wow, you're a regular traveller, so we don't need to sell, how great the country is to visit. We can just crack straight on and tell you a bit about the conference and how much we're excited to have you, I guess.
That would be fantastic. Although you can always tease me with the quality of the restaurants because I basically arrive and pretend to work and then immediately run out to eat. So.
Sounds like a good plan. I guess we all do that when we can. Jim, I'm interested. Tell us a bit about what is personal Kanban, and I guess how can it be applied to engineers and asset management professionals, sort of the people who are looking to attend the mainstream event.
Okay, so a little bit about me in that regard is I used to be an engineer, and you can't really be one without also managing assets. so so when I was a civil engineer, and then later on when I owned my software company, we had to build large things, very large things, and the problems that we ran into were just that everyone had so many things to do, and we were all deadline focused, that we weren't able to kind of coherently manage our work. We were managing it by the deadline, which is kind of like managing life by the day you plan on expiring. And not necessarily how do I maintain a healthy existence every day until I unfortunately arrive at that point. So with personal Kanban, or with Kanban at all, what we're doing with knowledge work, or with the work that people are doing, is we're saying, look, we have only so much capacity that we as individuals, or we as teams, or we as organizations can maintain. We can only do as much work as we possibly can, just like any car can go as fast as it can, or what have you. And we can do more things than is safe, just like we can drive faster than is safe. So when we're doing too many things at once, again, regardless of what the scale is, individual on up, when we're doing too many things, we tend to not pay attention to quality. We tend to not pay attention to the relationships that we're developing along the way, because every task that we do, or every project that we take on, is a container for relationships between us and other people. So we never do something without somebody else saying, are you done yet? And if we start 10 or 15 things, then all those people are going, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? And that means that every minute of every day we're spending our time saying, not yet, and not actually doing the work. So in personal Kanban, what we do is we say, okay, you know what? You can only do a few things at once, 2, 3, 5, whatever we decide that your personal capacity or your team capacity is. And then we explicitly limit that. And then you only do that number of things. And it's a visual system. So you see those things up there, and when they're done, you move them to done, and then you know that you, as a processing machine, that you actually have the capacity, the capability then to pull something else in. And it allows you to communicate that to others. So when other people in your group come up to you and say, can you do this? You can say, yes, I can, but right now I'm working on these 3 things, put it over there in my queue, and I'll pull it over when I actually have the capacity. And then you can start making real promises that you can really deliver to people, not just promises that you make because you're Australian and you're nice.
Right. So it can, although you're limiting your work, your progress, it can lead to more productivity in the long run. That's
oh, much more. Yeah, like orders of magnitude more.
Wow. Yeah.
It's scary how much overhead we pull in by trying to manage more work than we can handle, right?
And for those who are saying, Jim, of which I might be one of them, I've got so much to do. I'm getting thrown tasks from all these different sides at all time. How do I actually prioritize what's important and what I do at a certain time?
Okay, so that is perhaps the largest question of human existence. Much more than why am I here? It's what do I do next?
Yeah, yeah.
Because why you're here in the end doesn't matter quite as much as what you do with the time while you're here. And so we end up lots of times prioritizing things inappropriately. And that means that we manage by volume. So whichever person is yelling the loudest, we will do the thing for them.
Yeah.
Or we get together in a room with a bunch of people and we more or less arbitrarily decide this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, etc. And then we start to do the work in that order, but we will like pull in ticket number 1 and start working on it, get halfway through, like I'm halfway through and we're doing something with you, and all of a sudden you leave for the day. Can't finish it. So I pull over number 2 and I get about halfway through with that, and I realize that I need something from New York, and the people in New York have all gone home because they're all asleep by now. So I have to wait until tomorrow morning to ask them, right at the end of their workday or something like that. So when we prioritize based on urgency, we often don't prioritize based on whether we can actually complete the thing that we've started. And so for me, there's a lot of things that we can talk about why that ticket was there and whether or not you really needed to do it and all those things. It's like the precursors to priority. Is it properly groomed and cold so that you can actually complete the work? But then when you start it, my number 1 question is, what is the most important thing in that list that I can actually finish and hopefully finish quickly? And then you ask the other questions about, is it urgent, that type of thing.
Fantastic. So I guess a workshop at the mainstream conference, we can look forward to delve into a bit of depth about how anybody can take these principles and apply them to whatever tasks in their workforce and what they've got on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things about I did a video blog about 2 months ago that was about prioritization, and there was like 7 or 8 different mechanisms to prioritize what work is coming up. And it was basically, the title of it was, how do I prioritize when my work has no priority?
Right. Fantastic. Well, Jim, it's been great to chat with you this afternoon, your time. As I said, really looking forward to welcoming you across to Australia in the next couple of months. You're based out of Seattle, but I know you travel a lot with the Modus Institute. We're delighted you've agreed to come and join us, and really looking forward to seeing you at Main Street.
I am so looking forward to it.
Jim, thanks so much for your time this afternoon, and for everyone who's watching who's interested, check out the Mainstream website. You'll see Jim's workshop and all the other sessions available. We're in Perth on the 20th and 21st of March, and Melbourne on the 27th and 28th of March. Jim, thank you, and good afternoon.
Okay. Bye.